Surprise, Pop Girlies.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back to a surprise bonus episode of Pop Girlies.
Bet you never thought you'd see this. Bonus, bonus, chicken bonus.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. As Trixie Mattel, as RuPaul once said
Many, many times.
many times. And it was really good, and everyone loved it.
Right,
Yeah, she
exactly.
won the challenge.
Are we excited about this little bonus moment, the surprise little gift to the Pop Girlies nations, to all the jokers out there?
To all the little monsters, the lil monsters.
Little monsters with their paws up,
Oh,
ready to.
all of our paws are up right now. All four of my paws are up.
Exactly.
Right.
My feet are flexed and raised. Well, because paws are animals have four paws, right?
Yep, you're
Technically,
correct.
yeah. Technically, yeah.
Technically, yeah, four paws. And we're animals. Mammals. We're mammals.
Yeah, that's
Bet you
inspiring.
didn't know that.
No, I didn't know
No.
that at all.
Yeah.
So this episode, we're not gonna do hot tracks. We're gonna try to keep it in the words of Sabrina Carpenter, short and sweet. That might be hard for us because I think we all like to yap. Me, I think maybe most of all. But yeah, and Maria, tell us what we're here to discuss, why we're having this little special drop.
Yes. Well, thanks to Miss Stephanie Germanotta keeping secrets and surprise dropping things. We are doing a surprise episode for the Harlequin album that just came out this past Friday. We're recording this on a Sunday, so it's been out for like 2-ish days. And yeah, she announced it, I think, like this past Tuesday. So it was like very much a surprise. And yeah, the Joker movie comes out next week. So I think it's just like such a cool way to build hype and kind of get people like ready for what the movie's going to entail, which like I'm so excited about. So yeah, we're going to be talking about Harlequin by Lady Gaga today.
Woo!
Wow.
Yay!
The Pop Girlies are on top of these releases.
We are on the ground reporters.
Yep, we are.
We're breaking
Literally.
news journalists of Pop Girly Nation. We are getting a Pulitzer Prize in journalism, probably.
1000%.
So,
Eventually, yeah.
okay, Maria, do you want to just take us on this journey? Are we going to go to Gotham City?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, for the album, just like kind of background, it literally released again like 2 days ago. So, September 27th, 2024. There's 13 tracks and it's 41 minutes. And it's kind of like um, a meld of a compilation album plus a concept album, because it very much is kind of like the concept of like Harlequin, and it's for Joker Folie Deux, which Folie Deux in French also means the madness of two. So just some context there for anyone who doesn't know. Because Joe, like
Isn't
the
that
joke,
also like a Fall Out Boy album?
that is a Fall Out Boy album. Oh my
Wow.
gosh, bonus points for Drew for knowing that.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
It honestly maybe is the best one. I don't know. I had like
Well,
a
let's not get into opinions because I don't know if you're right.
right. Okay, got it.
Oh,
Well, thanks.
Girl, Save Rock and Roll is right there. You
Oh my
like that
gosh,
one?
I love that one. Since when do you have all of these Fall Out Boy opinions?
Oh, let's add that to the list. We gotta go into a Fall Out Boy episode.
Oh my God, I'm like
Bob.
stunned right now. Bob episodes. Yeah, oh my God. We'll definitely talk about that. Well, that's so exciting. See. But yeah, so all but two songs on this album are covers, and then there's two originals, one being Folie à Deux and then one being Happy Mistakes. And Lady Gaga described it as like vintage pop. And it's also like very much obviously a jazz album. I mean, like all the covers on this album are like basically time garnered jazz standards. So most of the songs on this album are like very recognizable. You've heard them at some point in your life in some way, shape, or form. But obviously, it has like this very cool, um, again, like just kind of like that vintagey, unsettling-ish kind of feel. Since we know that, like, the first Joker film for sure, and the way that the second film is going to be. It's like, a little bit disturbing, a little bit uneasy. And again, just kind of like entering the world of like, you know, like Levi said, Gotham City. I'm not like the biggest DC comics aficionado. I don't know that much about the lore of the characters or anything to that effect in the way that I know like Marvel character lore. But regardless, happy to be here and celebrating another Lady Gaga feature film moment.
Everybody say love.
Everybody say love.
You know what I will say? I think this is the most subdued press tour that she's ever given for a film.
100%,
I
which
was
is
thinking that. Yeah.
There, which is funny because this is a movie about crazy people. It's a
exactly
movie set in an asylum.
Well, and I'm
literally.
wondering, like, will she be doing more press, like, after it's out? Like, I'm confused because I feel like the studio probably wants like a really good opening weekend, and I'm
Yeah,
wondering
well,
like
and
what
I'm
the deal
also
with that
like,
is.
I'm curious because I know that it's gotten pretty polarized reviews, kind of like the first one did, at it when it premiered at Venice. But I think maybe the reception has been like a little less positive than the first film, and so and it's also like a sequel, so I'm kind of unsure about like what award season is going to look like for this movie, if this movie is a factor at all, and like that will obviously definitely impact the length of this publicity tour because if she is campaigning for awards, this is going to get extended out for months. But if this doesn't really turn out to be an awards play and it's more of like a commercial thing, then I don't know if it's going to continue that much longer.
I definitely think she's gonna go for the awards, though. Do
I
you?
mean,
Like, do you think she's not going to?
well, I mean, I think they'll probably try. I just don't know how like successful or seriously it's going to be taken, and I think that will like affect how long it gets played out. Like,
Yeah,
serious
totally.
contender, you're going to be campaigning until you're in March, but
Yeah.
if you like kind of fizzle out, like that's not going to
Well,
last that
now I'm
long.
wondering, like, is Song gonna be a player? Like, is she gonna
Okay,
try to go for Song?
are any of these songs in the movie? Do we know that?
Yeah, that's what I'm sure they'll, if she has any original song in the movie that she wrote, I'm sure she'll campaign, right?
I think like I mean, I don't know. I'm like tempted to say that I would assume like most of the songs are in the movie because I know a lot of the songs that are on this album are also on the movie's soundtrack.
Hmm.
Um
Yeah, so is that a separate thing that's dropping or
yeah, but it's like it's going to be like the score, like the OST plus probably whatever like Gaga songs are in the movie,
got
but I'm
it?
I'm not sure which songs are also going to feature Joaquin Phoenix and like which of those are going to be in the movie. And I remember like I'm laughing because I saw a tweet that was like, oh, I'm so not ready to see my rap, like my Spotify rap for the end of this year and have Joaquin Phoenix be one of my top artists. Which is like so funny. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly which
You'd
songs.
have to be really streaming to get Joaquin in there.
Yeah, I'd have to be serious.
I
Yeah,
just looked it up, and there's no official track list for the soundtrack yet. It hasn't been
got
announced.
it.
So, um, I mean, I guess there is a possibility. I'm guessing, I don't know, because I feel like I read the reviews from Venice, and I don't really remember any of them mentioning original song, and I feel like they would have mentioned an original song for Gaga, but I'm not sure. Who knows?
I know for sure that Folie is in the movie,
Oh, it
but
is in the movie.
I'm not sure if Happy Mistake is though. That would be so
Well,
tea
they
if it
would
was.
definitely. I feel like if she has a song and she's looking wonky in the acting races, they're definitely gonna campaign her for song.
Well, but even though I kind of think that, like, looking at the reviews, her performance, I think, is the thing that got the most acclaim.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest critiques I've seen of the movie is that, like, they don't use her enough.
Yeah, I also saw a review where someone was like, if they had put her in the movie anymore, it would just be a movie about her at that point, which is intriguing. But something
Which is what the
too,
people want. The people
that's what
want
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
that is
that's
what
what
the
I'm
people
saying.
want.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
citizens of Gotham City, I don't give a fuck about Arthur Fleck. Get Harlequin, mama, up here. Get Lee
literally.
on my screen.
Lee. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, and to preface the Pop Girlies listeners, I just hope you all know that the Pop Girlies do have tickets to see
Yes, we do.
it next weekend. we're busy, we're booked and blessed, but trust, we have tickets to see Joker too.
We are booked and blessed. Drew and I are in two of our best friends' wedding. Shout out to Allie and Alex.
Shout out the
Woo!
chicks. What
And
track
we
is
will.
that on Gaslighter? Best Friends Weddings?
Oh, that song's so good. I met you at my best
Best
friend's
Friends
wedding.
Weddings.
God, I love that. I love that album. Drew, why are we the only people who know how good that album is?
For her, girl.
Don't even. Don't.
When when
Don't.
when the chicks embrace Florence the Machine, oh
Ugh,
girl.
that's that album. That's an album.
We'll add that to the list. No one will listen to it, but we'll add it to the list.
Last question before we move on. Drew, how do you sleep at night? He nodded. Listeners.
So you don't
Ugh.
care. I
My
don't know.
husband's
I
girlfriend's
don't know what
husband
she's
just called
saying, but
me
girl, I
up.
was living.
That's so good. Okay, let's go back to Joker. Sorry, Nashville, leaving you behind. Joker, Joker, Joker.
Joker, Joker, Joker. Well, yes. So I mean, really, again, everything on here is like kind of reimagined jazz standards, and I just have to say, like, something for me that like made the listening experience like so special and emotional was like how differently she's using her voice than she ever has in the past. Because
Yeah,
like we've heard Lady Gaga do jazz standards and reimagined versions of her own songs for jazz and piano multiple times. And this is just something so completely different and just completely astounding. So yeah, it's just so cool to see like how she really, and I know she's mentioned in interviews a couple times, kind of taking time to like untrain her voice from how she's used to singing, because especially being a performer, you have to like be able to perform with like proper breath support and be able to do all these, dances and jumping around while still sustaining, a performance that sounds good. So just kind of like going through the process of unlearning all of that and still singing like someone who can sing but isn't professionally trained to sing. And I think you can definitely see that come through. I mean, everything sounds incredible, but you can still kind of, I think, hear the bit of like the persona that's coming through that isn't like a trained vocalist. And like the raw parts of her vocals that come through in the whole album is just like it's so intriguing and like special to hear. So that for me, like just like kind of made it so much more incredible. But and something I do want to say too about Happy Mistake, because again, that's one of the two original songs. And it's honestly more of like an introspective track about herself. It's not necessarily like, oh, I am like the lead character. Like it's not really like in the lore of the film, but it's more about her. And something that she said when she was doing like this special secret listening party in London a couple days ago, she said that the track was a reflection or quote, a reflection on and celebration of all of the darkness that has healed her before and all of the dual identities she's carried. So, kind of some perspective for that track, but it's very emotional and it's one of my favorites. So, yeah, that's kind of some background.
Cool.
So, what did you guys think of it?
Drew, do you want me to go first?
Call call on. You can call on us. We're your
Who?
students. We're your little monster
Yeah,
students.
Maria, who do you want to go first? You pick.
Because we
Mo.
all also preface the listeners, we have not really talked about our thoughts on it with each other.
Yeah, we've been saving it. Well, how about Levi, you go first? You kind of volunteered yourself.
Okay. I volunteer. I volunteer. I volunteer as tribute.
Thank God.
Ooh, 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 ooh. So, God, I wish I could whistle. I can't. I
Oh
can
God.
I can whoo, but I can't whistle. So, anyways, Harlequin. Um, First of all, I just think the whole conception of this album is really wonderful. I love when artists really embrace creativity and aren't bound by constrictions about, oh, well, I have this album coming out soon, so I can't release this other thing. I love when artists just create things and then release them because they're passionate about what they created. Uh, we had gotten the Billboard teasers with LG 6.5, which I thought was a really like clever way of making it clear that this is something separate from a studio album and kind of like this like little like interstitial like interruption as we transition from Chromatica to whatever LG7 has in store for us, which we know is coming soon. We know that that's going to be released in February, and that the lead
Ah,
single is coming out like in
in a
October.
couple of weeks,
Maria, you're
question
being
mark.
fed.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
being fed. But honestly, it kind of reminded me a bit of this like period of hyper productivity that Taylor's experienced over the last few years, specifically like when she released Folklore and when she was talking about how she normally would have like overthought the entire thing about when to release it and waited on it and sat on it, but instead just released it because she loved it. And that kind of reminds me of this. I think it's really awesome that Lady Gaga Miss Stephanie is in a relationship that seems really healthy and beautiful, and that her fiance um, is an executive producer on this album and has some writing credits on this album when they like changed the lyrics to some of these songs, and that like this seems like something that they really bonded over and collaborated on and conceived of together, which I think is really beautiful. And it makes me really happy that she's experiencing this kind of creativity and inspiration with someone that she loves. I just find that really moving. And like as somebody who's loved her for a long time, I'm really happy that she has that. So just I think this whole kind of concept is cool. I love the visuals. I think the visuals are
Yes.
Yeah,
amazing.
so
Uh
good.
the picture of her, like the album cover, the standard one of
Amazing.
her in the shower. I
Oh,
got texts from two of my best friends separately, Zach and Eric. They are dating, but separately they texted me, "Oh my God, that picture is so you," because I like to send them pictures of me looking depressed in the shower sometimes. And so I was like, okay, so maybe I'm Harlequin. Maybe I'm
oh my
Lee. The
God.
Lee in Levi is for Harley. Oh my God,
Tea.
it's crazy. Um,
After
oh
this
my
movie,
God.
we might have a new nickname for you.
Well, after the movie, we're gonna have three Gaga starring roles, and so we can assign one for each of the Pop Girlies. Somebody can be Allie
Ooh,
Main, somebody can be Patrizia, and somebody can be Lee.
oh my God.
So that's something to look forward to. Yeah, so I was really excited pressing play on it. And I really enjoyed it. I kind of thought, I was like, maybe this is just going to be like a novelty thing, like something that's like, it's cool that it exists, but not something I'll ever go back to. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Jazz is something I have a very superficial understanding of. It's not a genre that like I have an emotional connection with or a history with. It's not something I necessarily go out of my way to listen to.
Wait,
Obvi
you don't have a history with jazz?
I love a jazz hand. I love all about that jazz.
Love. Okay.
All about that jazz
All
and
about that
all that
jazz.
and all
Okay.
that jazz.
We are all
What I'm
about
like, what documentary book you reading all about that jazz?
Oh
all
my
about
God,
that
Pop Girlies.
jazz.
I have a history of saying titles wrong. That's something that I love to do a lot. Uh yeah, so I wasn't kind of
I'm
sure how I was
surprised,
gonna
Levi. I didn't think that this album was called Harlequin Soul or whatever. Isn't that
fuck
her full
off.
name?
Yeah. Well, okay, do you know what's actually really
Harlequin
embarrassing?
Soul.
Lee
I
Quinzel.
This album is the thing that like made me realize that like the name Harley Quinn is a pun. I didn't know that I
Right,
didn't get
right.
that.
I still don't. I
Well, because Harlequin is a word. Like,
Yeah, Harlequin's a word. It's like that pattern. Isn't that what a
well,
right.
Harlequin
no.
is?
I think you're thinking of houndstooth.
No, no, I'm not thinking of houndstooth. No, I'm not thinking of houndstooth.
I'm pretty sure you are. Or
Yes, no.
herringbone.
Type in Harley Quinn. Yes, because it's the gesture pattern. It's that like pattern. Type in.
Oh, okay. So
That's what a
Harlequin
Harlequin
is
is.
like a thing. So
Yes,
her
because
Yes.
it's
name
like
is the pattern. Okay,
Maria, you
Oh
that's
better
yeah.
be
cool.
Googling because you better be Googling right now. Google
I'm
image.
I'm spreading misinformation right now.
Yeah, I know what fucking houndstooth is. This is atrocities. You need to be tried at
He's a Meryl Stan. He knows what houndstooth is.
yes, trust Emily. Oh, girl, my mother educated me early. My mother has Marianne. I know you will be the first person to listen to this episode. You have many a great houndstooth coat
Wait, Levi, why do I feel like you and
Ooh.
your mom watched Project Runway? Am I wrong?
because We did
Yup,
because
yup, yup,
it
yup,
was
yup, yup,
foundational to our relationship. We
yup.
love
I
our
knew it, and we never
competitive
talked about
shows.
it.
Oh, we love it. That can be a separate conversation. So, the album. Yeah, I think it's great. I appreciate that this is very different kind of jazz record than Love for Sale and Cheek to Cheek. I was trying to think about how I wanted to describe it, and I think with those records, there's like a lushness to the sound and a smoothness to the sound that I think is typical of a lot of that's kind of what I think of when I think of jazz music. And something that I saw her talk about in the brief kind of interviews on the red carpet that she gave in between announcing this album and then releasing it was that there's a lot of like original interesting arrangements, and I think that that's very true. I think that like there's a roughness to this sonic landscape that I find to be really interesting combination with these jazz standards. I was trying to like describe it if like Love for Sale and Cheek to Cheek, her previous jazz albums with Tony Bennett have been smooth. Like I think there's a jaggedness to this album. Um, and like there is kind of like a rough quality that I find to be really interesting and I think obviously fits in with the world of Joker quite a bit. I like this as like world building. Um, I think the way that she uses her voice is really interesting. Initially, I will be honest, initially I was like, she sounds the exact same to me. But then after listening to it multiple times, I was like, okay, I actually am hearing how this is very different. I think just because like she has such a recognizable tone and such a specific tone, I'm like, yeah, that's Lady Gaga. But then after listening to it a few more times and, maybe hearing more nuances, I'm like, oh yeah, she's singing in a way that's very, very different than the way that she normally sings. It's almost like there's like a sharpness in her voice as well, which I normally don't associate like a sharp edge of her tone. But I think that like especially the way that
Yeah.
she comes in on the first song on Good Morning, like there is like a sharpness to the way that her voice sounds, which I think is interesting. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think both of the original songs are great. I'm a famous Blood Pop um, detractor, but you know what? To quote one of my favorite reaction videos from Twitter, um, you can never get a 10 because I don't like you. I don't like you. You will never get that 10. But I'll give you about an 8.5. That's how I feel. Because I think his Happy Mistake is really wonderful. And I think it helps that it's not a synthy sound, so he doesn't have anything to like dilute. It's like an acoustic sound. But I think the lyrics are really, really wonderful. I love the imagery. I love Folie Deux. I think that's a really beautiful song. I like the way it's sequenced. I like the kind of combination of the upbeat numbers and the ballads. I don't know if I have so much to say because we haven't seen the film, and I'm excited to see how like these two things are related to each other and maybe enrich each other, but also like because like this is a collection of like covers mostly, I don't know how much I have to say about like themes or whatever, but mostly what I am really taking away from this album is I think that like I really enjoy listening to it. I think it's really, really good. And it surprised me how much I keep going back to it in the next few days because I really thought this was going to be a novelty thing. It's like, yeah, I enjoyed this and I'll never listen to it again, but like that isn't what this has become for me. Um, and then B, this just makes me really excited about this period that she's in of creativity, of inspiration. I think it's really cool that this exists. I love that this exists. And I love that like, she's continuing to meld acting and music. Because obviously with The Star is Born, we got the soundtrack and the music from that, but like that obviously made sense because like she was writing it. It's a movie about pop stars. And while I know that this is a musical, and that like there will be like a soundtrack for the actual movie. I think it's really cool that Lady Gaga, the artist, got inspired by her character. She said that she didn't want to leave this character behind after filming, and so then this got created. And I just find that really cool. This to me has felt like a little fun deep dive into her brain and the way that she approaches music and acting and art. And I am just really inspired by all of that. So yeah, very much enjoyed it. We'll be going back to it, and yeah, really happy that this exists.
Well, true.
Okay, divas, are you ready for my thoughts on Miss Harley Quinn?
Oh no.
Yeah, girl, I wasn't living.
Oh, for none of it.
So
None of
I
For
so
none of it?
so I went into it, so it got announced was Living. I think it was like I think honestly, I think it's my favorite Gaga album cover of all time. I love
Wow.
I love her in the shower. I love that photo. It's so good.
Love the bed too, the alternative cover of the bed.
Yes.
Love
Just
the
all of
bed.
the imagery was so good. And so I was, and from the cover, I was thinking like, okay, this is gonna be like a very rock-centered album. I
it.
think, I think that's what I was expecting. Um, and um, it wasn't like really for me. Like I think getting into it, because you also saw the track list with the cover. And I saw like some of the the track titles, and I was like, okay, she'll probably do like a little rock version of like an American Standard, or it'll be like a little jazzy, but like I'm interested to see because she's talked so much in the press about how she had to like relearn how to sing and like relearn how to sound like someone else, like this character. So I was really excited for that. And then and then I listened to it and I wasn't like, I was just really confused, to be completely honest. I like how she sounds like as Lady Gaga. And that's what I was getting from the album. And I think I went in with too high of expectations of wanting it to be like this kind of character study kind of concept where we were getting something completely different from her. Um, and I am gonna be honest, I didn't get any of the um I she sounded exactly like how she sounds in her other jazz projects. Um, so that's what I was getting from that. And I wasn't really living. Um, I think also something that's really interesting is she has released it before the movie. And I think what I was hoping for was like getting some pre-context for like what to expect from the movie. And I think we're kind of missing, had I seen the movie, maybe it would have made more sense to me listening to this. Um, but I'm just like, why is Harley Quinn singing When the Saints Go Marching In? Why is she singing these like American jazz standards? Um, but again, she sounds amazing, and I think the context of it being this kind of concept album of this character was something that I was expecting a little more from, to be completely honest, because I didn't really hear much of a difference between like listening to Love for Sale and the jazz songs on this. Had it just been like a Lady Gaga album, I think I would have liked it a lot more. But it was I think I like thought I was gonna like it a lot more, and I didn't. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry. But I
That's
will
kind
say
of tea.
I did get halfway through and I did get into like the original stuff and like the more rock focused stuff, which I did really like. Like I like The Joker. I like Happy Mistake. I love those two. And I think maybe even if like those two had been in the earlier part of the album, I would have liked it more. I don't know. And it got to the point where like I was getting each song was going through and I was like, okay, why is this just jazz? Like, can we get some context into the movie? Can I get any shred of information? Because it really just sounded like a jazz album for me. Which, if it was a standalone jazz album, I would have loved it. But I think it fell short for me a little bit because I got really excited because I'm still so excited to see this movie. And I don't know, I was just hoping for something different. I don't know. Sorry, Maria.
Well, I mean, that's fair. And I feel like as like the LG 6.5 of it all, like
Yeah,
it's not like she's going to tour this album for the next 2 years and we have to wait
totally.
5 more years for like the next era of Gaga. So like I don't blame you.
No, I'm ready for LG7. I think I'm also like, I think it did her a just I understand why she released it before the movie came out because there's obviously going to be the soundtrack to the movie, which a lot of people will then want to go into after seeing the movie. But I'm kind of like, because I know that there's like sort of this jazz part that the movie is going to have. Like I know the score of the movie is probably going to be this like jazz centered thing, but I just don't think that there's a world where we are to think that Harley Quinn is like this jazz singer until we like are proven it. Like until we see her as a jazz singer. Like I think that's a very large leap for us to kind of like I don't think anyone without knowing that Lady Gaga was playing Harley Quinn, I don't think anyone would go, "Oh, I think Harley Quinn would be like a jazz singer." Like I think we were all kind of expecting this like rock centered kind of thing. Um which if Harley Quinn is a jazz singer, which it sounds like she is, that is great, but like I kind of wanted to see that evolve more rather than just listening to it beforehand. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe she wants us to go in with that kind of background from the album going into the movie, but I don't know. I was kind of taken aback a little bit.
Right. Well, I feel like it would be different if like every song, like if the album was still a jazz album, but every song on it was an original song. So then
Totally.
we got more of like a window into the character with the lyrics because they all would have been original. Um,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And there were a couple of songs, which I'll get into in like our top three, that I really like. There were a couple of the songs that were the jazz songs that kind of like I was like, okay, I'm living for this. Like I
right.
like what she's doing, kind of the changing of the lyrics. Um, but like then there are some songs where I'm like, okay, this is just an American jazz standard, and I'm just hearing Lady Gaga. I'm not hearing Harley. But maybe if I had seen the movie and like saw the kind of like little ways her mannerisms and her voice changed, maybe I would like it a little more. Or and like hear the Harley in it. So maybe after seeing the movie, I will kind of re-explore this concept album and kind of like it a
Yeah.
little more. But yeah, again, love her vocals. She's Lady Gaga. She's amazing, and she's so versatile. Like obviously she can do like a jazz record, but then have like rock songs on it at the same time. I think I just got my hopes up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like too, like I feel like so much of this, at least hopefully, will make more sense like when we see the movie, because as we know from the first movie, there's like a pretty significant element of like magical realism. And
Totally.
when I say magical realism, it's like the movie shows us things as truth and then goes back and says like, wait, that was just Arthur, the main character, like imagining him like being in a relationship with the girl who lives down the hall or something. But when it's first presented to us, it's shown to the audience as fact. Like that happened. Like they had this meet cute moment and that happened. And it's so funny because like when I think of magical realism as a concept in movies, I just think of the car driving into the sky in Greece. So to like have that on the other side of the coin of like, oh, it's like the movie's showing us something that is we're supposed to take as actually happening, but then we find out that it was just in that character's head or whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like for the second Joker film, I feel like a lot of the things that we've seen in the trailers where they're like performing in front of an audience and Gaga's like behind a piano, whatever, I feel like that is going to be that like magical realism element. And I feel
Yeah.
like the second one, like this one that's coming out, is going to have much more of that than the first one even did. Um, so we'll see. I'm so excited. I just can't wait. But
I know.
yeah,
I'm really excited to see like how this kind of jazz sound, you know, gets into the movie. But
yeah, yeah. Great. Well, do we want to get into our Holy Trinity and what's your me?
yeah.
Let's do
Well,
it.
I mean, Maria, you liked the album,
Yeah,
right?
do you have
Oh,
like any further thoughts?
well,
I mean,
sure.
obviously we know you're living, but
Oh yeah, I'm totally living. Well, I'll just say, I mean, obviously I love it. Like listening to any new Gaga is like an emotional experience for me just inherently. But I will say, like, I had two moments during the album where I actually teared up.
Which
And
ones?
shocked.
not to be dramatic, but the first one was actually during the Joker because I
That's
was
so
like,
crazy.
I
I
was
that I had listening to the Joker, I had that AJ moment during when she listened to Renaissance, when she heard Plastic Off the Sofa, and I was like, oh my God, like finally, it took us 7 fucking songs.
AJ, oh my God. But yes, like literally the second verse of that song where like she is like almost like she's talk singing basically and like just her vocal inflections and everything are just so crazy and she sounds insane. I was like, this is why I love Lady Gaga. Like the things that she does with her voice, like not even when she's like being a character, but like just in general, like she's just so talented. And when that like I was listening to that song, I'm like, only her. Like it's just I just love it so much. And then the other time I teared up was during Happy Mistake, obviously. It's a very emotional song and it's personal to her, but like her vocal performance on it's just insane and
Yeah, it is.
like the
She feels
vocal
so
scratch
crazy.
so crazy. But like the kind of growl that she gets in like the voice cracky kind of
Yeah,
moment, like oh
it's
my
good.
God, so good.
It's good.
So yeah, that's I think where I'm at. I mean, obviously I love it. Obviously I like it more than like cheek to cheek or love for sale. Like it's just more interesting. I like the kind of darker tone that they took on obviously like jazz standards. Obviously like knowing it's in the context of a film, but still like I just think more of like the gritty kind of sound as opposed to like light and fluffy kind of jazz. Like I tend to like, you know, more of the grittier stuff, but like I just love the reimagining of everything and I feel like this album has it like it definitely has its own lifespan. Like it'll stand alone aside from the film. Like you won't have to be like, well, I'm only gonna listen to these songs if I'm like about to watch this movie, or like I wouldn't listen
Agreed.
to these songs if I wasn't watching the movie itself, you know? So I
Yeah,
think it like
agreed.
definitely can stand on its own. And yeah, I just really love it. Super good. And I will say too, as a little monster, Joker is going to be the first Lady Gaga movie I'm seeing in theaters, which is crazy,
Wow.
but very excited for that.
Okay, so now do we want to do What's Your Me and Holy Trinity?
Yes, let's do it. Should I go first?
Yes.
Yeah, so what's your me, Maria? What's your me?
Um, I think my me, and honestly, like they're all like if I'm listening to this album front to back, it's like I'm just gonna flow through it and have a good time. I just feel like Gonna Build a Mountain didn't like fully stick out for me.
Mm.
So that's gonna be my me. It just didn't like have a moment where like, oh, I remember that they like changed this up in the song or like it just didn't stand out to me. So that's my me.
Drew, what is your me?
My me definitely is Oh and the Saints.
Yeah, you are not feeling Oh When the Saints. You do not like her
Why is Harley Quinn singing Oh When the Saints Go Marching In?
because they're
Why?
marching babes. They're marching through Gotham City.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Yep.
I actually love Oh When the Saints. I love the way her voice
Oh
sounds on
my
it.
God.
There's like a crunchiness to how she sounds that I love.
What's your me?
Miami's the Joker. I just don't like it. It's just yeah, it makes so much sense. It fits so much thematically. I mean, out of like any of the covers, it's the one that like fits in the most with what the first film was saying, and I think what the second one is going to build off of it. I think the song's bad. Like I just think it's written bad. The melody, the lyrics, I mean, it's from this like forgotten musical from the 60s for a reason. Like history
Oh,
has not remembered this musical for a reason. The musical is the roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd. Like, what are we doing here?
I'm living.
Well, the title. I mean, put that on a marquee, I dare you.
So like I just like don't like I just don't like it. Like I like the guitars are good. She's so committed. I get what you were saying, Maria, about like the way that she's performing and she sounds so crazy and unhinged. It's just like that just can't salvage that. Like I just don't like the song. So that's my me.
Well, there you go. You have to stay true to you. And I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I'm finding truth in my truth.
Good. Good.
Okay, Maria, what's your Holy Trinity?
Okay. I my third song, That's Life.
Ugh, I love that that's life.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me started on That's Life.
Drew, multiple people can cover it. Just because Smash covered it does not mean that.
Okay, that's true. I'll let her have her flowers.
Ooh.
Because I know that that's what's holding you back. I know that you're comparing it to Ivy and Karen.
Yeah, there's a really if we have any Smash stands on the Pop Girlies listening party, it doesn't hold to the Ivy Karen duet in Smash. Maria, Ivy and Karen, like the leads in Smash, do a really good cover of That's Life. That's really good.
Ooh, love. I'll have to watch it. Obsessed.
Okay,
Okay,
what's your number
so
two?
my number two is the Joker.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then number one is Happy Mistake.
Love.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense. The two
Yep.
songs that you got emotional in are your top two. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Can you believe?
Yeah, I can believe. I also believe in life after love. I believe in a lot of things.
Wasn't that something?
Yeah, I'm a believer. Okay, Drew, what's your
So
I
my
don't know
number
what the fuck you're gonna say. This is interesting.
so my number three was Happy Mistake.
Mm.
Even though I didn't really like it at first, but I got into it
No, can
after.
I expose you what you texted me?
Yeah, I was texting Levi when I was listening to it because I was like, wait, I don't like it. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna tell Maria?
Okay, I'm happy that you came around. I'm only saying this because you've come around on it. Drew did tell me that it was worse than Jules and Drugs.
Oh my God.
The
Like that is a
production. I hated the production. I was like, why is Blood Pop trying to
specifically
do
he
his
said the
acoustic
Blood
shit?
Pop song is worse than Jules and Drugs. And
I came
that
around though.
I mean
But
that made me really scared because
I
you
just
already know how I feel about Blood Pop.
I hate the lyric, I feel so crazy.
But she feels but she
But
does.
she
She
does
feels
feel so
so
crazy. So like I get it, whatever. She sounds great. My
and I
number
think the
two,
the verses are just full of such good imagery that like she can be crazy if she wants.
she can feel so crazy.
Just feels so
Um,
crazy.
my number two is That's Entertainment. And my number
Yes.
one is If My Friends Could See Me Now. Because that I
Ooh.
was like, okay, because I love the song from Sweet Charity, the If They
Hmm.
Could See Me. I love because that was a song where I was like, okay, well that works. Like I like hearing like how she kind of changed the lyrics a little bit, and I kind of got like the whole like Harley Quinn kind of imagery from the lyrics, and I felt her emotion in the song, but I also could appreciate her like cover of it. And I think that was what the whole kind of album was about. So, and I love that that's entertainment. I also felt like that fit into the world of
Yeah.
Joker, even though we haven't seen it. So like it could be different, but those are my top three.
Love. Love, love, love.
Okay, my top three. Maria, I'm with you. That's Life is my number three.
Tea.
I
Love.
I love it as a closer. I think she sounds deranged on it too. Like to me, it's like a deranged person, like being like, "Yeah, that's life," and like I think it like is a really great way to end this like album. And I think she sounds really good on it. I love that song. So yeah, it's my number three. My number two is World on a String. I loved all like the ballad moments on it. I just found it very lovely. And then my number one is Happy Mistake. I just think the lyrics are really it is a lyrical prowess that I really missed on Chromatica. Like I think that the way
Mm.
she's writing is just so beautiful. Like I love A Lonely Disposition, Portraits of a Strung Out Girl, How'd I Get So Addicted to the Love of the Whole World. Like she's so evocative as a writer. Like at her best, she just like makes you feel and see so many things. And yeah, love it. So that's my number one.
Oh, oh my gosh.
Cool.
Wow.
Okay, should we break out the utensils?
I think so. Drew, do you want to start off with the Drew Fork rating?
I don't know what this is
Mm,
gonna be.
I am a little nervous.
I know. I'm just gonna say it.
Just do it.
5.9.
Well, hey, it's basically a six, so I think that's a win.
Wasn't quite a six. It's a 5.9.
Okay, that's
Honestly,
fair.
though, when you were texting me on Friday morning, I thought you were gonna give
It
like a
went up.
3.2.
It went
It
up.
had to, You
I was
were
just
finding nothing about it that you liked.
I was like trying so hard to eat it up, and I
You crawled
wasn't
your way up
eating.
to a 5.9.
I did.
That's your truth.
Well,
Okay, let's
So
have
let's
Maria
get up
Spoon
from that.
dip it. Maria, dip into what you're doing. Scoop it
Maria
up.
Spoon. So I'm gonna say, um, kind of like being the nature of a Gaga side project slash concept album, and like I guess like kind of like with that kind of like context. And plus with it being a jazz album, which is like a little bit specific, like I feel like it would be kind of difficult to just like listen to this like whenever.
Yeah.
But also with that being said, like obviously it's amazing. She sounds amazing, and I love the reimagining of these songs. So I think I'm gonna give it like I think a nine.
Oh,
I think just a
wow.
straight nine. Yeah. Because I like obviously, I mean, Gaga. Like I'm going to love it, but like
Yeah.
I just, like I
Besides
think it
Joanne.
has but oh, that's another episode. That's another episode. But like yeah, I think because it comes like with like a little bit of that like baggage in a way, like I think it's like it's not super duper transferable to like, oh, like if this is coming on in the club, I'm like going to lose it, you know? So like sure. But yeah, so that's my rating. And then we need to cut it up with a Levi knife.
Oh my God.
Cut it
That's
up.
Cut it up.
Oh, oh, not that.
not that.
Oh
So
no.
I think for me, I can't give it above like an 8 just because of like the nature of it being like a
Not
concept.
good.
Like,
Just
no,
kidding.
girl. No, just because it's like not like since it's not like a body of like original works that like are like saying something about her life. Like, I don't know. I just for me it's like I can't give it like up in that like upper echelon kind of because of the things that Maria was talking about. And like obviously I don't have that additional like love to your level of Gaga, which is like gonna like elevate things a little higher. Just because of like it's a very specific kind of project. This isn't gonna be something that like I can come back to it like every single day. The way that I could with like some of my favorite Gaga albums. However, I really enjoy it. I think it's great. I think it's really well made. I think it's really interesting. These are interesting versions of these songs that I will revisit. So, I'm not going to go above 8. I'm just going to go right below. I'm going to cash in at 7.9.
T.
Slay.
T.
And I think that's
T.
I think we're done now.
Yeah,
That's entertainment.
that's life.
Th- that's live. This was a happy mistake,
Not
Pop
that.
Girlies.
First taste of a Pop Girlies bonus
Well,
episode.
and now you all can look forward because this week is kind of like a Gaga week because we get the Joker movie, we get this Pop Girlies episode, and then we get the next episode, which we've already hinted at.
We've already
Yeah.
hinted at.
So,
So if you didn't catch the hint, then you're gonna have to go back to folklore episode and find out what it is.
And listen to Folklore while you're at it. She's an indie
yeah,
artist and needs more streams.
yeah. All right, Pop Girlies. Well,
Okay,
have a
so
great week.
I'm gonna go get institutionalized in the Arkham Insane Asylum.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna
we're
go.
also
Oh,
preparing for Sweat Tour.
yes, Sweat
Oh
Tour.
yes, Sweat Tour tomorrow.
We are going tomorrow. So we're gonna
Wow.
feel the rush.
I'm so upset about New York. I
Yeah,
hate
we're
New
not going to talk
York.
about that.
Yeah, it's too emotional.
It's too hard. It's too personal.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Pop
Bye,
Girlies.
Pop Girlies. Catch you on the flip
Bye.
side.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.